everyone, this is Jonathan with Iron Forge Consulting Group. Out here today taking a low light course with Zach Bush of Definitive Training Solutions. Zach, just tell me a little bit about who you are and what your company does.
Yeah, sure. My name is Zach Bush. I'm the owner of Definitive Training Solutions. I've been a police officer for 14 years. I've had a training company for a couple years now. I guess what we do at Definitive Training Solutions is we offer courses in combatives and firearms, and then we usually integrate force on force into each of those courses.
Okay. Today we're taking a low light course, or you're teaching a low light course, and I was a student in it. Why is low light important, or use of flashlights important as far as carrying a firearm?
Yeah, so the low light course, Definitive Low Light, is based around the handheld flashlight, right? So we use the handheld flashlight, and the reason we teach a low light class is because most encounters happen in some low light conditions. So like it's a very probable scenario that you would be in a situation where the light condition would be diminished. And so that's why we feel it's important to teach a class like this.
Half the time the world's in darkness, right?
Yeah, and the other part of that other half, it's in lower light than normal.
Sure.
So if your gun's empty, that means you just shot it. If you can get behind something, or you can put the flashlight away and you have lights and reload it two-handed, then obviously you can do it that way. But most of the time, you just empty the magazine for some reason or have malfunction. You're probably going to want the light in your hand, right? So with the light in your hand, we can still reload the gun. We're just going to do it one-handed. So before that, we're going to practice some of the techniques that we did or that I showed in the classroom. Obviously, the cupping technique, pretty easy, and then just the technique of bouncing it off the ceiling.
Having taken some rudimentary low-light training in the past with other instructors, it was good to see Zach's unique take on using a handheld light in a self-defense situation. He taught several tactics and techniques I'd never previously seen or even considered, such as the neck index and cross-neck index. Not only did he teach the techniques, but as with all of his classes, he went in depth with the why of the techniques, which is something I always appreciate. It just goes to show that no matter how much previous training you have, there's always more to learn if you seek it out. The big takeaway for me personally was learning new techniques for using handheld lights and then actually getting to apply those techniques against a resisting opponent in the form of a force-on-force drill. It cannot be understated how important this application of techniques against live resisting opponents is, and it only furthers the true validity of said techniques. Like Zach mentioned in the introduction, there is usually a force-on-force component to each Definitive Training Solutions course, which is a significant departure from much of my previous experience. This is a most welcome change in the firearms training industry, and a trend I hope to see more of going forward. And it's something we will definitely be implementing into the Iron Forge Consulting Group curriculums.
Like that doesn't really, it still works, but it's different. So to me, the gun right next to your ear, that's what I like. And when we do the force-on-force scenario, you'll be able to employ whichever one you want. And if you shoot yourself with a force-on-force gun, we'll know. So, and it still counts. So, all right. Any other questions? All right. Eyes and ears?
Eyes and ears.
All right, give me that first line up here again. I'm going to walk you guys through this one.
If I had to give one point of feedback to the course, it would be that I'd like for it to run a little bit longer. As of now, it sits at about 5.5 to 6 hours, and there were a couple drills I wouldn't have minded getting a few more repetitions in for. This is not Zach's fault though, as the venue we were training at only had limited availability and needed the range cleared off by a certain time. Regardless, it was an excellent course and absolutely worth the investment of drive time, tuition, and ammo. I believe I'm now much more prepared to handle a self-defense situation in less than optimal lighting. If you get a chance to take Definitive Low Light or any of Definitive Training Solutions' other courses, I would strongly encourage you to do so. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Links are in the description below. And remember, be harder to kill, train more.
I know there's a school of thought out there about like, well, if you have a strobing flashlight, it's going to confuse the person, right? Like, I'm about to shoot this motherfucker. So like, I'm about to introduce some real confusion into their world. You know, like I'm not worried about confusing them with a flashlight. Like I'm about to start shooting them. So.